know you heard me on the radio. Flexing, she loved the sound of my voice, it's the best thing. Daydreaming of the jazz all day. Pick up the phone late night with Larry K. I know you heard me on the radio. Flexing, she loved the sound of my voice, it's the best thing. Daydreaming of the jazz all day. Pick up the phone late night with Larry K.
Rutgers Scarlet Knights fans, welcome to another edition of Night Watch with your host, Larry K. If you guys have not done so yet, click that subscribe button. Let's get to 500 views as I fix my mic here. Let's get to 500 views. Let's do it. Got big news coming soon. We are going to expand with a very large website, and other things are coming, and I'm excited to be able to give you guys written content very soon. I've talked to some people. We're making it happen. But Rutgers, we have a busy week this week. One thing that happened that's out there and that's public and that people are talking about. And then another thing from the gridiron where a young man that I'm very excited about, that I think has a ton of potential, that I think is a beast athlete in a few ways, took a visit today to Rutgers. And I want to talk to you about him. First things first, on the hardwood, Rutgers continues to reassemble their basketball program. We saw, a rough season last year where you saw the exile or the self-removal, just the trying to see a different environment or whatever you might call it, of Cam Spencer, who's done very, very well to our north at UConn, and Paul Mulcahy, who went out west, who was a Rutgers guy through and through. And then when they left late in the transfer and recruiting cycle, it put a lot of pressure on the coaching staff for the men's basketball team to assemble a group of players that would be formidable in the Big Ten and beyond. And on such short notice, with only limited time to establish chemistry and culture, it was a tough year. You had Jeremiah Williams come on, but he didn't come on till late in the season, and that was a problem for the program. I think if he started earlier, we would have been better off. But we've gone through all this already. Let's talk about the fact that we now have Dylan Harper, who, by the way, was co-MVP of the McDonald's All-American game. You have Ace Bailey coming in. These are two extremely talented kids, top 5 kids in the recruiting class. You have Acuff, who I did a video on just a few days ago, who's coming in the 7th highest scorer in D1 last year. A kid who can get to the rim, a kid who can make things happen. Now, his offensive efficiency has been questioned here or there, but with the mix of guards and the mix of players that we have on this team, I don't think you're going to be asking him to, take the world on his shoulders all the time and just constantly try to make things happen from inefficient places on the court. So I'm excited about him, but now we add yet another piece. And we add Zach Martini, who this was widely speculated this would happen. This is a Princeton kid. He's got a Princeton degree coming from right down Route 1 in Princeton, where I visited this past Easter Sunday. Just a gorgeous town, gorgeous university, I got to say. Even though we're rivals in basketball, it's a Jersey university with a lot of pride right down the street there. He comes from Princeton, got his degree from Princeton, coming into Rutgers. Jersey guy from Warren, New Jersey, Jersey kid. Played at actually Gill State Bernards, where Paul Mulcahy played. So Jersey roots through and through, legitimate ball player, just a baller all around. Went to get a great education at Princeton. Now he's honed his craft in a system-type team, a team that we saw last year, that we saw how formidable they were. We saw how those guys knew how to execute as a team on the floor. And he comes in with just very good shooting prowess. I think one of the most interesting things about Martini is his progression shooting the ball through his years at Princeton, from the 21-22 season through to last year. Last year, he shot 38.5%. 38.5% from three. Overall field goal percentage for this young man last year, 44.5%. I mean, this is the type of offensive and shooting prowess that we've been missing. Now, we say that every year, don't we? Every year we say, oh, look, Pike brought this guy in. This guy's a shooter. This guy brings offense. This guy's going to bring the offense and spark the offensive firepower and give us the offensive consistency that we need. But every year It seems that some of these guys get lost in the shuffle. So I'm not here to give you this, rah-rah, are you rah-rah, song and dance here to say I'm 100% convinced that this team is going to, go crazy and make a deep run just because they have two highly touted recruits and they look like they're filling out a pretty formidable, nice team around them. Because we don't know what's going to happen. And we saw last year that chemistry and culture building is not easy, and it's hard to make happen in just one offseason, even throughout one season. But if you had asked me at the end of the offseason, what would you try to do around Ace and Dylan, Larry? What would you try to do around them to do your best to ensure that you can have the possibility of a serious run next year? And what I would have told you is they're going to have to bring some maturity onto that team. They're going to have to bring some upperclassmen, and they're going to have to bring some guys who have seen it before. And they're going to have to bring in guys who have experience playing as a team in a system where all five guys on the court at any one time need to lean on and depend on each other and have chemistry with each other to be successful, because that's when Pike is most successful. That's what I would tell you. And I would say that the start with these two players coming in is a very good start and good step in that direction, along with some of the guys that are still on the roster. I think Oscar Palmquist, and you never know if Oscar is going to stay or go, but he's a strong cultural guy. You have Jeremiah Williams, who is a formidable guard who can be a lightning bolt, who has experience for certain. So you have these players on the team already. Now you bring in a guy like Martini, and I think it's good. It's good stuff. 83.3% free throw percentage, not up in the 90s, but better than what we've seen as of recent, especially last year. 96 rebounds last year. 27 assists. He's a forward, and he was playing some small ball big man. And I learned this, I'm not going to lie. I got some of this analysis from Aaron Brightman. Aaron does such a good job, and I get some good information from him. But he was known to play some small ball 5 spot with Princeton, and I don't think that's going to be the case with Rutgers. I think he's going to be this number 4 that can shoot kind of guy. And I think we can pull that off here, especially with the type of system we want to run and how we want to play ball. This guy can bang a little bit. I don't know how much he's going to be able to bang down low in the Big Ten, but he can play ball. He can play ball, and he's going to be doing what he can do. And it's going to be nice to see, I think, with the outside shot, standing at 6'7", 235 pounds. He's going to be somebody who's formidable in the post, down low, but also somebody who can hit a mid-range and can hit a three-pointer. And that's valuable in today's game. And that's valuable in the Big Ten, and that's valuable beyond the Big Ten. Average 8.4 points a game, 3.3 rebounds a game. Field goal percentage overall, like I said, 44.5. That's great. Not a huge assist guy, but hopefully these guys will be feeding him and not vice versa. Although hopefully when things get in rhythm and there's some chemistry, he'll be able to make that happen too. So Zach Martini's a huge get, a big get. It doesn't look like we're going to get his teammate from Princeton. He's out in Ohio, Matalaco, out in Ohio, and I think that his father had mentioned things, and the buzz around the program doesn't seem like that's necessarily promising, but you never know what could happen. I think really the most important thing for Rutgers at this juncture now, you have these talented forwards who can do a lot of things aside from just bang down low. You have a full, and I'm not saying not to go out and get more guards, but you have a full room of guards who are all very good. And you have these 2 studs coming in, from the high school ranks. And at this point, I think you really got to target a big man. And I know Lathan Somerville is looking every bit the part. He's looking like the type of player we want. He's looking like the exact type of high school recruit you want. But he's a freshman. And we've seen how freshmen take time to adjust. And I'd say that's especially true for guys on the bigger side, taller side, guys who got to play down low. It takes time to get up to the stamina and the strength that it takes to compete, especially in the Big Ten, with some of these other big men. And I think we've really got to target a big man that Somerville can develop under, maybe get in the game for when the time is right. Cliff did it for Miles, but you got to get a rim defender. That's what Pike's system needs. That's what makes good defense in the league. We rely on those blocks, on that rim defender when guys penetrate, because we can close when we're playing our best defense. When we've seen the better years, we can close when he dishes it back out. And you need that, and it's how our system works and functions the best. So, and I also think having a big man is going to help, again, with cleanup duty and creating other things with these talented offensive players who are dynamic. But at the very least, you need them for defense. So the next thing I would hope to see is us targeting a formidable, very good big man to act as that rim defender. We had Miles and we had Cliff, and those guys were such integral pieces of our team when we have been successful, especially on the defensive side of the floor. We are going to need to do that. So that's my take on Zach Martini. I think it was a great pickup. I'm glad we have him. Now I want to talk to you about another very impressive young man. That young man right there, that is Dante Kain, 5'10", 225, running back, athlete out of Bergen Catholic. His hometown is Long Branch, New Jersey. He's a Monmouth County, northern Monmouth Shore type kid. So he's got that grit. And I know a lot about that grit down that way. Winds up at Bergen Catholic. Took a visit today. And as you saw with Coach Ciano, look, class of 2026, I think there's a lot to like about this young man. And I have followed him quite a bit in his ascension in general, because I know the family to an extent. And when I got wind that he was visiting Rutgers, I was excited because I've always kind of been excited about his ascension as I've watched him progress and I've watched him grow and become a formidable player, such a formidable player that he wound up at Bergen Catholic. And I think it's worth following his recruitment. He runs mean. And I have video and film that I've seen. I can't get it up here right now. I'll try to get my hands on it and show a little bit of it on here. But he runs mean, and he runs quick, and he runs fast. Okay? This past year, 67 attempts rushing the ball for 395 yards, a long of 40, 2 touchdowns, receiving 5 receptions for 66 yards, a long of 45, 2 touchdowns. Just really, really looks impressive on film. Gets quickly shifty, gets past guys, and it makes guys pay. You're taking 2-3 guys to bring him down. You need certain angles to get him down. He's quick, and then he lowers his shoulder. He moves those legs. He churns those legs, and he makes you try to bring him down. He's exactly the kind of guy that Rutgers and Coach Ciano has built their program on. Jersey through and through, from the shore, from, a formidably gritty part of the shore, rising up to Bergen County, playing up north, in that parochial scene, and just balling when he gets there. And remember, this is a 2026 kid, okay? So there's still some time for him to develop, to become even more noticed, to get on everybody's radar, and I would expect Rutgers to stay on him, and I hope that they do, because I think he's a promising young athlete. And from what I understand, look, he's going to look around, and he's going to do what he needs to do. But at the end of the day, he likes Rutgers, and his family is interested in Rutgers. Rutgers is right up the street, and this is a Jersey kid from a Jersey family, and I think there's promise there, really for something good to happen with Rutgers. So I'm excited about the visit. This kid's averaging 5.8 yards a carry at Bergen Catholic last year. 5.8 yards a carry. That is not easy stuff. 5.8 yards a carry. When you get a look at his film, it's something else. And I want you to understand something else, too. That's the running back. That's the offensive prowess of this young man, okay? I've seen tape of him playing defense. Played some linebacker. He's closing quickly. He's wrapping up, And that same anger and energy and relentless effort that he's showing running the football, he's showing closing out guys and bringing down runners and doing his job on defense. So he's a running back athlete. And it's going to depend on how some of these schools look at him and where they want to put him and how they want to develop him, whether they're going to recruit him as a running back, an offensive player, or, on the defensive side. And if you're looking at the defensive side, you could see one of the linebacker positions or even one of these quasi defensive back, linebacker kind of hybrids where you're a hard-hitting, run-stopping safety, but you can also play coverage and you can also get involved there. And we've seen some of that in the system under Joe Harasimiak and under Greg Schiano. So it's something to keep an eye on. I'm going to get you guys some film on this young man because I've been following him for a while. I'm going to keep you posted about what I hear. But it's my understanding the visit went really well. The young man's excited about Rutgers. The state is still excited about Rutgers. Aside from his recruitment, I can tell you there's just a lot of buzz around the program right now with the football program. Next week, I'm going to have a football preview show for you guys. I'm going to discuss the positions, the depth, the position groups I like, what it's looking like. But it's just nice to know that Greg Schiano continues to have guys on campus who fit the mold of what we want to be as a program and as a culture with these kids, especially homegrown kids who love the game, work hard at the game, and just give relentless effort. So the visit went well. We're going to keep an eye on Dante Kain. I advise you guys to do the same. Wait till you see some of this film. It's nice. And I'll keep you posted on him and all the other recruits that we have coming in, as well as the football program. Expect a football video next week. So again, nice to have Zach Martini. Awesome to have some visitors on campus today, including Dante. And, let's see if we could break through with these parochials. And I know we've done it in the past, but let's get some good pipelines from these parochials, especially the guys who come from, Central Jersey and then work their way up there and give it their all. It's nice to have them around. So, decent week for Rutgers sports right now. I mean, I know things haven't been the best with the way the basketball season went, but decent season overall. Not decent season. Sorry, it's getting late, and I worked all day, and I worked all week, right? And it's still not even Friday yet. Decent week for Rutgers. If you're an avid follower and fan, which if you watch this channel and you're watching it in the offseason, you must be, you got to like some of the stuff that's going on, even though it doesn't promise anything, even though we still have a lot of question marks, especially with the way the basketball season went last year. You have to be at least, there's only one thing you can do, and that's look forward and gauge what we're doing and what we're not doing. And if you're gauging it thus far this offseason, I think we've hit the ground running, and we're doing some good things with the transfer portal, with basketball, as good as you really could have wanted in some ways. Matalacco excluded at this point. And then the football season's ramping up with spring ball going on, and I think, with the quarterback competition, with the depth of some of these position groups, with the energy that's around the program, especially coming off the bowl victory last year, with some of the recruits we have on campus, I think there's a positive energy on the banks right now, and that's always good to see. So if you haven't done so yet, smash that subscribe button. It's right here. It'll take you less than a millisecond. I'll actually wait for you to hit it. Just click it. Hopefully you clicked it. You subscribe to the channel. Help us get to 500 subscribers. Let's do it. Let's cross that threshold. Like I said, we have big news coming soon. Let's hope we can get there together. It's a pleasure, as always, to speak to you guys. I hope you enjoyed the show. And remember, you can download the Rutgers Night Watch has a podcast available on most or all platforms. Most of the time, it's just the content that I put here on YouTube, and I also put it there so you can listen while you're in the car or whatever on any medium. That's Amazon, that's Apple Music. All of those platforms carry the podcast, so tune into that as well sometimes. Until next time and until next week, unless some crazy news happens, go RU, and Larry K is out.